You want to build a great team, you want to have an inclusive culture, and also you want to thrive as a leader. The question is, how do you want to do all of that at the same time? And we have an expert with us here today. Hello and welcome, Frankie Kemp.
Hi, Niels. It's a real pleasure to be here and meet you.
Thank you very much for taking the time. I get straight to the point here. Many leaders tell me, look, I really like to thrive in an environment which is challenging, but let's just say the economy is tight and we all have these meetings. And when I'm speaking, some meetings are just a bit dull and I have to use these PowerPoints and I have to tell them what's on the PowerPoint. And when you have 10, 15, 20 meetings, leaders can't thrive on the 15th meeting, or can they? What's your take on that?
Well, Niels, my take is that they can't. Who can? There are so many people that they spend their day bowling from one meeting to the next. And when those meetings are over, you know what happens? That's when they have to do their work. I mean, and the meetings themselves are usually not structured
Mm-hmm.
in a way where people can exchange ideas, get to an action point, and then follow up. Often those meetings are structured to organize what? Another meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So I work with technical experts or specialists in tech all around the world in communication, up, down, and around. So I get to see how people, for example, as you said, they will talk about, oh, they've got to get their pack together, their
Mm-hmm.
slide deck, like it's
It's like that.
1984.
Yeah.
Like, and um, and they think that's how they're going to get their message over. But what we are all looking at is, especially in dispersed teams, feeling like we're part of something and that we matter, which are the two strands of Daniel Pink's research
Mm-hmm.
about about motivation. So it's killing people's motivation when you just turn up with 100. I mean, I was working with an engineer a few weeks ago, and he said he had a 15-minute meeting and he was worried he wasn't going to get his point over with senior leaders. I said, so what's your point? And I thought he'd just tell me. Oh, no, no. He opens up his laptop and there's 70 slides. So, sorry, how long's this
Seven
meeting?
zero,
Sorry,
17, not 17,
seven
7.
zero slides, right? How long's the meeting? 10 minutes. Was it 10 or 15 minutes? Something like that. I went, oh my gosh. I said, if anything, you need three of those. I could see immediately. But I said, let's just strip this back. What is the point you are making?
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're talking about a leader, but he wants to go up to senior management and he wants them to take him seriously. I said, if you want them to take you seriously, you keep your point concise, you tell them what's in it for them. And for all you listeners, this is so important. You address their concerns, not your concerns, how you can help them reach their strategic objectives.
Mm-hmm.
That is what you need to do. And you can do that in 5 or 10 minutes without a single slide. And you know what? Nobody's going to walk away going, well, Richard, he gave us what we want, and we can see that it really matters, but really miss the slides.
That's probably because I saw on your LinkedIn profile that you say, be less vanilla and more thriller, which I think is an absolutely great line. Cut the waffle.
Yeah,
However, some people might now say, well, when I cut down the slides, maybe I try to sell something, but I'm basically selling out. Selling out my position. I'm giving them everything they want. So when people say, oh, I think really, or they say, I think it's our culture to have the slides. It's just how we do things here. What's your take
yeah.
on that?
Right. Well, I have another situation with industry analysts, and I've trained them right up to senior level. And I was training but the team below the senior um, leadership team last week.
Hmm.
And I said to them, you know, when you don't have your slides, you're putting everything that I'm saying about presenting and involving a dispersed audience into practice. But as soon as I say, right now, relate this to a current project on which you need to present, you are going back to your status quo. And they go, well, I know, but this is how they do it. And I said, they've brought me in because they know that that's wrong and they want me to work with them in the future. Meanwhile, you're going to show them. I went, but okay, I don't want to put that on you. This is what I'm going to ask you to do. And this is so important. You're going to ask them, you're going to simplify your slides like so and so has done. Take it to, and I mentioned the CEO, and say, is this okay if I present like this? If I'm giving these handouts to the clients? The answer was yes, that would be a blessed relief,
Okay,
right?
there you go.
Now,
Yeah. Excellent point made. Excellent. I saw on your CV you did not only work with many tech firms, you also work for a business school. You have the track record academia. When you now say, because I saw on your website as well, it's the theater-based people skills for geeks. That's what one of your lines. How do you deal with people who say, look, Frankie, I'm an engineer. We are very
yeah.
technical. In your theater world, this is all okay. And we just do presenting with slides and tell people technical details. That's just how we are. How do you convince people when they really think this is the right thing to do?
Well, firstly, I've worked with tech and engineers for 25 years. And what happens is I can get somebody doing a 3 to 6 hour coaching session with me. Nobody would have heard about any presentation that they've ever done in their life. And then suddenly the senior leadership are going, we want to know about your proposal. We heard about it. We weren't even at the meeting. So firstly, I know the proof of the pudding is in the training because it gives people, so it gives your listeners will be able to, they're tangible and practical. Now in acting, what we do is we don't do theory. You study theory, but you can't act with theory. It's got to be practical. Now, the other thing is, acting isn't all sparkles and sunlight. I mean, if you're doing TV, everything has to be minimal. So when people are on virtual calls, I'm looking at what they're doing. I'm
Hmm.
listening to what they're doing. I can hear this. I can tell by the eye contact that you're reading an email. You're not looking at the screen, you are scanning the lines of an
Hmm.
email. And actors are often, and this is probably going to sound strange to most of your listeners, many of them are natural introverts.
That is
They,
something I had not expected because you go on a stage, so you think they are probably on the other end of the scale. So
you
how do they
would.
manage?
Having a character is a relief. It gives
Hmm.
you permission to, ironically, it gives you permission to be more you. We do this exercise. So when I'm doing the presenting training, for example, there's this exercise where I give people really, they always put it on the feedback form. It's like, you made me be a game show host. Now we do it in the spirit of fun. Everything, I'm not gonna, I push people outside their boundaries, but in a way that's fun. And they always say, I never expected to do that, but I felt safe with Frankie doing it because that's the main thing. I wouldn't do it if they didn't feel safe pushing their boundaries out.
Excellent.
But there's this exercise where, for example, they're a game show host, and everyone looks at them at, I don't know, Sally from accountancy being a game show host, and they're going, Sally, that's actually what you're like. And she said, but I feel like I'm over the top. So I'll show Sally her, and I go, and she looks at it, she goes, I look so much more relaxed.
Hmm.
And sometimes you've got to, it's not fake it till you make it. It's fake it until you realize who you really are and you don't have to use the
Excellent.
mask anymore.
Very good point. Because I'm not a friend of fake it till you make it at all. Because that usually means you're lying to people's faces and try not to actually be discovered. So would you say when someone now comes up and say, "Look, I am just not a natural presenter. There are natural presenters and there are not." You think that anyone can learn how to be an amazing presenter? Absolutely no exception?
So it's interesting when people say I'm not a natural presenter, I say, well, forget presenting. I'm not going to teach you how to present. I'm going to teach you how to communicate.
Hmm.
Now, presenting is communicating. It's you're speaking, it's a conversation with one person speaking most of the time.
Hmm.
Now, when people ask me to present at keynotes, whether it's on difficult people or workplace dynamics or learning or whatever it might be, and I'm going to confess something to all of you out there, is I am absolutely bricking myself. I'm naturally nervous because I am this introvert. So I know you're probably listening and going, no, you're not.
Well, most
There is a
most
little
people
bit.
think when I feel nervous, other people will realize that I am, and then they will not believe whatever I tell them.
Well, my main concern here, from a personal point of view, is am I connecting? That's all I need to do. Doesn't matter if you're nervous. Are you connecting with people?
Mm.
So when people say I'm not a natural presenter, I go, you don't need to present, you need to connect. So coming back just for a second to my experience, when people say I'd like you to do a keynote or I'd like you to present on something, I reframe it in my head and I go, I'm going to give people a conversation. That's what I'm going to do. Now, if you reframe it and ditch the word present, which is very loaded,
Hmm.
and it comes with all these intrinsic expectations, which are very tacit, and ditch that, it can be very freeing. We don't even use the word present. It's communicating, it's connecting.
Mm.
And you can connect. You communicate with your colleagues. You connect with your friends. You have the ability to do it, but you're not conscious of what is making that happen. I'm not going to come in and tell you all the things you're doing wrong. Oh, you need to be different. You need to be a presenter. No, you
Yeah.
need to present as like I was watching Mark Carney at
Hmm.
Davos, right? Davos. And he has his own style. It's extremely different from, I mean, take Tony Robbins, completely different again.
Oh,
Not
yes.
everybody's cup of tea, right? But the point is to do it in a way that is true to you.
I
And
think,
my job, sorry, Niels, yes, carry on.
no, yeah, because I think these are the perfect final words. And some people might now think, hey, I think I should work on that. The question is, how can people get in touch with you when they say, hey, I'd like to work with Frankie? How can they reach out?
Well, I'm not going to mystify that. So it's Frankie at frankiekemp.com. So Frankie with an IE at frankiekemp.com. All you need to do is hit that, click contact, get in touch. There's tons of free resources there as well. And that's the easiest way. My phone number's on there.
So they can get in
Email
touch
me.
quickly and then discuss everything with you from training to keynote. You are there
Absolutely.
for them. Perfect. I
That's
think these
exactly it, Niels.
brilliant. I think these are the perfect final words. Frankie, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure, Niels.